It's wedding time. Well, I've always been asked about my wedding dress and I've never talked about how I made it. So because it was our anniversary, it's the perfect timing. Well, let's tell you about the situation for a bit first. We had been together for so long and we had been living together for more than 10 years. So it was for us a bit over the top to make a big wedding, so we wanted something simple, something quiet. So we did most of the things ourselves. We did the invitations, we did the favors and things like that. So I was thinking about the dress. I didn't want to spend a lot of money in a wedding dress. I didn't have it and I didn't want to spend it. I respect people who do, but it wasn't me. So I thought about trying to make my own after making a few things I have done before.
Nothing like this. It was a bit of a risk, I must say.
The thing is that Marie Antoinette can't wear it because it won't fit her. Even though I traced it on her, then I took it in quite a few centimeters because I'm quite a nervous person and I know that the minute I get nervous I lose weight like mad. So I knew that was going to happen. In the end I did, and it was even a bit loose on me. So let's see how I show it to you and how I don't know if I can wear it either, but let's see. There are millions of wedding dresses you can get inspired by, but they must always reflect your personality. And I've always liked the one Kate wore ages ago. I'm sure you've seen it, the turquoise one by Jenny Packman. It's really nice with the lace, the chiffon and the belt emphasizing your waistline. And if you're basing your design in a picture, you have to sort of realize of the layers it has, the patterns you might use and the fabrics, the different fabrics you need. So I realized I needed the lace, the chiffon and a basic fabric for underneath, and I went for a satin. The thing is that at that time I didn't know anything about patterns, so I traced everything on Marie Antoinette. So I just looked at the design, saw the shape of it and started tracing some shapes on her with some simple ribbon, and then on that I sewed and I shaped some cotton, and then on that I put my first layer of satin. So see what I mean? I didn't know anything, I just did it by instinct, and I didn't even know about interfacing because that will have given it a bit more structure. And of course all this business of the cotton and the satin I also did on the back, which has a bee on it, which looks really nice. And for it to have a bit more shape, because everything is lace and you see everything inside, and I knew I couldn't wear any underwear, any bra, I just went ahead and went to an outlet shop, got a €3 bra and just cut it and put it in there. You see? Funny, isn't it? It worked. And then while I was making this, I did, which was fairly easy because it was just gathering, the two skirts, the chiffon and the satin one, which I gathered on the waistline. We'll talk about the things I will have done differently nowadays, but I did that at the time. And then with the bodice made, it was time for the skirt. And I just saw them, I saw the satin one nicely and properly, but then I don't know why the chiffon one I sewed on top is not even right sized together or hiding the seams or anything. It's a bit messy, but well, then I was able to do the zip. And then it was time for the lace. I didn't know what I was doing, take that into account. So I just, because all the nice bit was on the selvage edge of the lace, what I did was to make a dart, and then because I was afraid it was going to fray and rip on the wedding day, on the inside, don't kill me, I just put some super glue on there so it wouldn't move, and it worked. And then I didn't remember this, but this hasn't got any seam. It's quite seamless really. So on one side, on the left side, the lace finishes here and the satin on the zipper, but then on the right side is the same lace that goes all around to the other side of the zip, all on the back. So I did quite well. I was really afraid. The original dress has some buttons down the back, and I knew I couldn't do that. I didn't have the skills, I couldn't manage that. So I went ahead for a zip on the side, and that was it. I don't remember how I did this. For it to have the selvage edge here on the neckline, on the cleavage, and then come all the way seamless, all the other way to the left side, and having selvage edge here on top of the neck. I don't remember how I did that. I truly don't. Mi madre, esto fue difícil, ¿no? Chiquita embarcadera. Oh no, I can see the layer here. No, there's two layers. Okay, there was the front, I remember that now, the front, and then I did to the back, but I did elongate the back towards the side. That I did, but I can see where it's joined now. Okay. And then after the lace, it was time for the chiffon, which was fairly easy because it was just a bit of fabric pleated on top. I wanted it to have more pleats, but I didn't know how to do it. I don't know if you have to steam it or do something to it, but when I put more fabric, it used to wrinkle and lose shape when I moved. So I just left it like that, and it looks nice, I mean, but I'll have to look into how to do it properly. And then for the lace on the back, I just took advantage of the ribbon I had placed on the first place, so I sewed it on there. So it was fairly easy. I'm realizing now, because this is loose, you can see the chiffon skirt on top is a bit loose. So it was because, I remember now, I did the zip and then I wanted it to hide the zip as much as possible, so I only wanted it to be seen to the waistline, not down, because I didn't know how to manage to sew the chiffon to the zip. So I left it with a bit of elastic band, and then this was hiding with a safety pin underneath the belt, the sash. So, you know, it was a bit messy. And the zip is not even an invisible zip because I didn't know they existed. So it's just a normal zip I sewed over there, and it worked just fine and it did its job. So I'm pleased with it, but I will have done it differently, obviously. Hey! I didn't think it was going to fit. I'm a bit tight in here, but it sort of fits. So once I had the skirt sewn, I went ahead and did the hemming, and for the hem it was easy because I just did this one. You do once and then you cut all around the excess fabric and you fold again, and it looks really neat and really thin, like a baby hem, isn't it? And for the sleeves, I didn't know how to trace them properly, so I just did what I could, and then I folded the top to give it a bit more volume, and well, it worked. And the original dress hasn't got a big sash like this one. It has a grosgrain ribbon, and I didn't manage it really well. I didn't know because I wanted it to hide this excess fabric here and the zip. I didn't know how to do it, so I just went ahead and did it with some of the bits I had left from the chiffon. Finishing touches, this I got in a local haberdashery, which is just the same as the original almost, and then my sister-in-law brought me this from Wales, and it is from the designer. It's Jenny Packman for Debenhams. It's amazing. It's pink. It doesn't look like it, but it's pink. It's not white. It's really nice, and it gives the look it's like the cherry on top, isn't it? I remember there was also one in black and in navy blue, and they were amazing. I didn't want it in white because it was like too white. This one is just nice. It's pink, even though you can't really see it, but it's really nice. I love it. Things I would have done different, a few. To start with the bodice, I would have used interfacing as well to give it a bit more structure, even though I don't really think it needs a corset type of inner bit, but the interfacing, I think it would have been much easier. And another thing is that for the back, these ribbons I added to add more structure or more. I was afraid that the lace was going to break because of the weight of the dress, but it doesn't. So I will have got rid of those two on the back. Another thing I would have done differently was to pleat more the chiffon here. I think it would have been nicer. I don't know how. I don't know if you steam it, if you hand sew it, something. But do something with it, something extra. The sleeves, nowadays I would have paid attention to the sleeves, and they would have looked much better. They look nice, but I mean, they could be better. And of course, if I keep with this design, I will have done different the zip. I will have used an invisible zip, of course, but I don't mind leaving it here and giving the back all the wow factor. And of course the skirts, I should have done them, I didn't know, like a circle skirt, adding volume instead of gathering, because gathering adds the volume to the waistline and you want it to be a bit more sleek and to have much more movement down on the hemline. So that's another thing. And last thing is the sash. Nowadays I think it would have been nicer in a different fabric, not on the chiffon, because you can't really see it, it doesn't do anything to the dress, and in a different fabric it will have Maybe it didn't need to be the grosgrain ribbon, but the satin I used for the base of the dress would have been nice with some interfacing, just give it a bit more structure and elegance. Fears when I did it, I had so many. I was so nervous, I had to pump myself into making it, like tomorrow I'm sewing, there's no problem, I can do it. And all of this, I have to cheer myself up so I could come downstairs and sew it, because I was so afraid to do it wrong. I was afraid to cut the fabric, I was afraid of the sleeves, the zip, the making of the whole thing. I think it was quite a challenge, but it was enjoyable, and it's a nice memory to have. How much was the dress? I remember having summed up everything, and it was 170 euros. The lace was 70 euros a meter. I got what they had left, it was like a meter and a half. Then the chiffon, the satin, and this was 15 euros, I remember that. And then this was a part. I don't know if this was 50 or 60 euros, something like that, but it was worth it. I think it's completely worth it. It's a lot of time to do and to work on it, and you're thinking what you have to do, and when you don't know, it's a bit more difficult and challenging. But what I did is that I did it by steps, like for example, today I'm doing the skirt, or today I'm doing the lace, I'm putting the zippering. So I didn't stress out about doing it all at once, because I didn't know. So I had to take it little by little, and it was worth it. I remember making it. I remember I cried when I finished. It was probably just relief, but it's a nice memory to have as well. So let me know down in the comments what you thought, if you like it, things you have done differently. I've said a few, but let me know if you can think of more. It's always nice to know. And don't forget to subscribe, because I upload twice a week, and that way you don't miss anything. And I leave you here a link to all the evening gowns I've made, things you can wear once or twice in a lifetime. And don't forget to subscribe, because I upload twice a week, and that way you don't miss anything. And did I say that already? Maybe. So bye.